Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Maxed Out podcast. Today has been a day. I think everything that could go wrong went wrong. Um, God love my worker. Overslept a little bit. Very uncharacteristic for him. Such a great young man. So we didn't quite get kicked off as soon as we should have. But then I had equipment failures, so it all kind of equaled out. A day that was supposed to start off at like 7 a.m., I think wound up being like 11 a.m. So a little discouraging there, you know. It's the nature of the beast. Breakdowns happen, good days happen, bad days happen. I think that's what interests me the most when it comes to self-employment and business, because I had a good friend reach out and he's like, how's it going? And I'm like, I'm losing, but I'm winning, because at the end of the day, I remember where I come from and the jobs that I hated along the way. Now I'm doing something that I love, but it's just, man, those tough days really kick your ass. But anyway, that out of the way. We've got some good things coming down the pike. I have reached out for help. Help is on the way. I've got a great gentleman from the area that has done podcasts before and is very good on the editing side. So I'm very excited to have Jared McCreevy help me out with that. Yeah, the dude's an absolute rock star when it comes to the editing, and he gave me all the tools that I need, but I'm gonna let him go ahead and physically guide me. So hopefully within another episode or two, we'll get this fine-tuned and it'll be a little bit sharper. But tonight you've got me in generic mode with glasses because the contacts were dried out. But anyway, I've had enough time, sitting in the seat of my tractor day in and day out, and just thoughts roll through my head. So many thoughts. I try to write them down so that we have topics to discuss. But a big one that keeps coming back to me, and I've noticed myself saying it more and more when we're out, and I noticed there was even an event that Kim and I was at a few weeks ago, and I let it rip, and it was simply, we live and we die. I don't know why all of a sudden, like, this year, new year, new me, I don't know what, but we live and we die, right? And being in a small town, everything is so highly scrutinized and criticized, and whenever we travel, it's like this whole new world, right? You wind up meeting new people and more open-minded and finding like-minded things that you're all in tune with, right? It's hard. You look at the folks, I'm so jealous sometimes of the folks that live in like big cities. And they can go completely unrecognized for days, weeks on end. But you take a town like where I live in Lincoln, Maine, we're at like roughly 4,500 people. 45 years old, lived here my whole life. I'm bound to know some people, right? So, and depending on what you do, the social realms that you associate with all kind of dictate what you do, what you say, what you wear, blah blah blah. And a lot of people can say, "Oh, I don't care." Yeah, you do. Especially when you live in a small town. It's almost like you're not allowed to do or say or whatever. But folks that live in bigger cities that go unrecognized, my God, they can literally do whatever. All right? So I'll give you a freaking example. Someone in like Houston, Texas, who's quote unquote a nobody, and I'm using that term very loosely because they're not a nobody. Just when you have such big numbers, not a lot of people know them. They could have an OnlyFans, whatever, all day long. No one's even going to know. you have an OnlyFans in Lincoln, Maine, everyone's going to know. And it's blown out of proportion. Who fucking cares, right? Who cares? That's just one example. Not enough people are doing exactly what they want to do or living exactly how they want to live because they are so scared of what they might say or whatever. And no matter what the job, right? Because we've seen it at all levels, right? Take, for instance, when Kaepernick for the 49ers started with the whole kneeling during the national anthem, right? Here you got a massive, major quarterback star, and he thought he was going to lead this movement. Well, he did for a hot second, and then he's out of the NFL, right? You can't always do and say what you want. You got to keep it within reason, right? But on a much smaller scale, people are not living how they want to live. I just find it funny that people can judge, and I'll be honest, because I could get called out on this so fast. Can I be judgmental at times? Yes, I can. I hate that I have that gear, but damn it, I have that gear. I think when I get most judgmental is knowing that a person has so much potential and they're not tapping into it. It pisses me off. I allow it to eat at me when it shouldn't eat at me because it's none of my business. But when you see a person has potential at some aspect in life, it pisses me off that they're not using it. So I guess that's, at this stage in my life, that's probably where I'm most judgmental. Won't say that throughout my life that I wasn't judgmental about other things, because, yep, I know damn well I was. But the older we get, I just find it so funny that people can drink in excess, and that's okay. But if a person has a medical card for marijuana and they go to a marijuana store and get that legally and they smoke weed as opposed to drink, they're looked at as like a dirty pot smoker or a pothead or whatever. I just don't get it. I don't know where the line is drawn with this, right? Like, I have friends that are in the lifestyle, and if you're not familiar with what the lifestyle is, look it up, okay? Sorry that you don't know about it. People that are in the lifestyle are probably some of the nicest effing people that you'll meet. Least judgmental, just want to love and have fun. And God forbid they live the life that they want to live. Yet people can cheat on their partner and sit at the local frickin' bar or whatever and judge those happy people that are in the lifestyle. Make that make sense. How is what they're doing wrong, but what you did without authority is that's okay, right? Makes no sense. Small scale towns always want to judge. I, forever and a day, wanted to get into testosterone and stuff like that. Finally got to a state in life, like 38 years old, I'm like, hey, I've been lifting my whole life. I'm approaching 40. And if you're in your 40s and you're not on testosterone, I'm sorry. Like, it's the best thing ever, okay? And it's awful funny how people are like, oh, juicing this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not saying they are at me. If they are, that's fine. I could give zero fucks. But you still got to put in the work, right? It's like anything. And I love, you'll see people that are on, like, say, Ozempic and knock people that are either on, like, steroids, peptides, HGH, testosterone, whatever. Well, it's FDA approved. So wasn't the COVID vaccine. How'd that work out, right? Fuck yeah. Here we got Ozempic. And again, these opinions are all my own, right? So if you get offended, please don't come at my family, anyone I know, or whatever. These are all my own. Ozempic's making people skinny fat. All right. Okay, so FDA approved that. That's a-okay. But if a man wants to take testosterone for weightlifting or whatever he wants to use, okay? You want to use Tren, you want to use DECA, you want to use HGH, SARMs, okay? You still got to put in the work. You can inject all day long. If you don't put in the work, you don't put in the meal prep, all that goes nowhere, right? Ozempic, you can just poke that shit or whatever, and boom, there goes all the fat. Now we're skinny fat. Is what it is, right? And maybe I'm being judgmental with that, right? We can circle back at me being judgmental. But I guess the reason I am is because people like to throw it. Like, why can't we be equal? Why can't there be equal respect? There is no equal respect, right? Wonderful business in town, Blazing Trails. I mow their lawn. They are a medical cannabis store. They can't get like any recognition for what they do. They have a beautiful store. You go into that store, it's gorgeous, right? But booze, that's okay. That's okay. But boy, you pull into their driveway and potheads or whatever. And there's some of the most wonderful people. They'll help you. The stuff that they got there helps with muscle aches and pains, and it's not all marijuana, folks. They've got creams for migraines and stuff of that nature. It's amazing. Take hats and t-shirts. I get like these really profane hats and t-shirts. I make sure that I wear them at concerts or vacations away, because God forbid you wear them in a small town, because, oh my God, how dare they? How dare he do that? People got to learn to start having fun. People don't have any fun anymore. They're more worried about what someone's going to say, what they're going to think, what the latest rumor's going to be. And you just got to live your fucking life, Stop being so afraid. I'm not going to tell you to go into work and wear a profane shirt or hat that's going to get you fired. No, that's stupid. But on a day-to-day, like, living your life basis, like, holy shit. I just want to see people become more free, more open with themselves, and stop worrying so much about what the general consensus thinks. And maybe it is because I live in such a small town and it seems more amplified. Maybe if I did live in the big city, this would be a non-conversation for me, because I would never feel it. I would never sense it. But I guess when you live in it, and sometimes throughout the course of your life has been under a microscope for whatever effing reason. Like, why? I'm a nobody. Literally a nobody. It just gets annoying. It gets old. So, no, the moral of this story is you live and you die. Point blank. Stop worrying about stuff that you can't control. Stuff that you can't fix. People's thoughts. Just enjoy and have fun. So, on that note, have a great night. Thank you for listening.